Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the EmpowerMAN podcast. Your boys are back. We were out there getting the word out there to VOTE, not to veto, but to vote, because time is running out, folks. Man, woman, does not matter what you orient as, just get out there and vote, because our elections are coming up faster than you know it. And no matter who you vote for, we don't judge your perspectives. Just get out there and vote because it is your First Amendment. That shameless plug. It's your boy Mikey G coming to you live from the free state of Florida. I am joined tonight by the man who was going to help build the border wall, but all he had to do was flex his lats, and the border wall was built.
Scared him all away.
Scared him all away. He is the man who never attended a freak-off party, nor does he like baby oil.
This is true.
The man's never had a colonoscopy or a prostate exam, so nothing goes up there, folks. It's an exit, not an entry. Ladies and gentlemen, Greg Tador, number one, the parent, the patriot, the proud papa. He is here in the flesh. Greggy T, what's up, brother?
I am doing pretty good despite all the noise in the life right now, but everything is good. How about you?
Well, another shameless plug, sparkling ice, folks. You can get these 5 for $6 at Publix. It's sugar-free, fortified with vitamins and minerals, and I'm sure stuff that's going to give me cancer, but it's not alcohol.
It tastes good.
Tastes great, less filling, folks.
Good.
Yeah, Greggy T, it's been a wild world, been a wild ride so far. You know, this has been a crazy month so far, and you know it's only going to get crazier. It's only October 17th. You got 2 weeks left in a month. 2 weeks from today is Halloween. Do you have your costume picked out, sir?
Yes, I'm a single dad.
Single dad?
That's my costume. Allegedly. Maybe.
Wow. Folks,
we'll see.
This is big news.
I'm just kidding.
Holy smokes. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to have a night with Greg Tadora, we're going to start an auction. All money will go to... No, I'm kidding.
Just kidding.
Never mind.
No costume for me. Just taking the
costume.
girls out trick-or-treating and
nice.
Going to have a lot of fun with them. And this is weird, not weird. Remember our parents used to check the candy when we were little?
Yeah.
For all sorts of weird shit in there?
Yeah.
I was talking to a buddy of mine, a parent at Farris School, and last year he found a razor blade in a sealed piece of candy because they rewrapped them with the sealers, the heat sealers, and he found a razor blade in a Reese's peanut butter cup.
What's wrong with people?
Check your candy, and you can't even blame the parent because it was wrapped and everything, but he said it just had extra air in there, so it was a little peculiarly puffy. You know, normally you can feel the package, but it felt like like you're squeezing the air out of something that's going to pop. He goes, it felt a little too much air in it. He opened it up, broke it, and there it was. Scary.
I don't get it, man.
His girl's in first grade, so that would have been not good.
Well, wouldn't that have been good for the person if it happened to
anybody?
Yeah,
anybody.
Found them, and it would have been game over.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't get people, man.
You're lucky. You're lucky.
Yeah. Really. Just be safe this Halloween. Right?
Check your candy.
2 weeks from today. Check your candy. But also, parents, just make sure you know where your kids are. I mean, common sense. I mean, I'm not a parent, at least that I know of. But if I was a parent, keep an eye on your shits. You know, I have a cat who's awesome. She's not going out for Halloween, though. She's staying in.
But is she going out for mischief night is the question.
No. She's not like that. No. We're going to watch the election together. She's going to keep me sane.
Cool.
As everyone will be on the edge of their seat to see who wins this thing. But, you know, that's either here nor there.
Whatever.
Nothing speculative. I mean, she really put her best foot forward last night.
I didn't see it, but from what I'm hearing, she did not do well. But in this day and age, that doesn't even matter anymore. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Everything has a good spin.
It does. It's all about a narrative, right? We talked about that on previous episodes about, spinning the narrative, creating a narrative.
Yep.
And, it's just, it's different times. So, no matter how people look at the world, they have that freedom to look at the world the way they want to look at it. Just don't push your agenda on myself.
That's it.
Or
I don't care what you believe in.
you.
Leave me alone. Just leave me
Yeah.
alone.
And as tradition has it here on the EmpowerMAN podcast, for those that are new to us, we like to give a shout out to our firemen and women, our policemen and women, our first responders, our EMTs. Thank you all for keeping our communities safe and sound.
Absolutely. And thank you to all the military personnel, their family here, overseas. Be careful. Things are heating up in the globe, and we have people all over the place. So be careful, watch your backs, come home safe, and let's take care of our own.
Yeah. Yep. I agree with that, Greggy T. Tonight we got an interesting topic here. Human or hypocrite? And why this subject came about is because we are all flawed human beings, right? But we all have a moral compass or a code that we live by. There's a
Easy
code that I
does it.
live by.
Not everybody.
Not everybody, but some people, both maybe they're good, bad, who knows? I think if you look at the way you envision the world and how you see the world, it's going to kind of be led by what you believe in, what your values are. Some value money, some value relationships, some value, other things.
Mhm.
I think as we try to create change within ourselves, sometimes we can't leave the past in the past. And that just gives us that thought of, am I a hypocrite? Am I human? If I make a mistake, I'm going to be judged. But who's really doing the judging? Is it somebody or is it ourselves? Because we're our own worst critics when you think about it. So we're going to open the dialogue with this, Greggy T.
Mhm.
What do you think the difference is between being human and being a hypocrite?
It's a good question. I think being a human is what you touched upon a minute ago. We all make mistakes, whatever. As long as we learn from them, try not to do them a second or third time, all good. To me, that's human. No one's perfect, and nothing is perfect. No situation's perfect. No relationship's perfect. No job is perfect. Nothing. But you can be human and always strive to do better and work on yourself, your relationship, your job, whatever, your finances to do better. To me, that's human. To be a hypocrite is just to go around saying one thing, doing another, but doing it knowing that you're doing it and you're cognizant of it. You don't care, and you're doing it all for the optics and all to say a certain narrative, even though you're not living it. And most people can call you out on the bullshit. At least we can. So I think if there's no intent to get better or to change isn't the right word, just to get better, improve on yourself or the situation, you're a hypocrite and you should be called out on that.
But a lot of people can't handle being called out on that. Why do you
Most
think
people
that
can't.
is? Why do you think that is?
It's the times we live in. There's absolutely zero accountability. There's very few people we know that'll be accountable or to take something they did wrong on the chin and to man up and say, my fault, my bad, won't do it again. Or I thought I made the right decision. I didn't. All right, I won't do it again. It's just pass the buck. Pass the buck, blame somebody else. It's the hot potato blame game. So I just think that's a society we're in now. We've been in it for a while. I don't see it changing. So that's why our circle gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and I'm 100% okay with that.
Well, let's break this down into certain levels. Let's before we get to the macro level, what we see in the
Mhm,
world. Let's look at like ourselves, for example, and I'll start off. So for the last 3.5 years, I'm trying to become more, you know, Christian and follow a different path. Now I still make mistakes, and
mhm,
sometimes it's going to sound weird, but like, not that I can't control it, but I don't have this. I don't exercise the self control. That's my choice. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Does that make me a hypocrite because I come out here and I'll make biblical references? No, because I feel like I'm working on myself and working towards a goal. Now,
mhm.
it's in the Bible. The godly are going to fall down 6 times, but they'll get up the seventh. And also, too, when it comes to like sexual immorality, sexual purity, all that type of stuff, it's all along the lines of flee from sexual sin, or just run away, or like just figure out a way where the spirit is willing but the flesh is weak, and we have to realize that the flesh is weak, and we also have to realize too that everyone's flawed. You're flawed, I'm flawed, and when we get in arguments with people, and I just did this, and I said to myself, all right, well,
Mhm.
if I'm going to a Bible study class, I'm going to church on Sunday, I'm doing all these things, I'm trying to be a better person, but yet I feel like I'm in this like cyclical rut of like the same behavior, then I need to switch it up. So I made it
Mhm.
in my morning routine. There are a bunch of people that I pray for that I hold something against, because the best way to receive a blessing is to bless others, especially those that do harm to you or that wrong you in some way. And one person I just reconnected with and got back on a friendly level. The second one I reached out to yesterday and just said, "Hey, listen, I really regret our last conversation and how it got so heated." I said, "Hope you're doing well. Hope you're healthy. Hope work's going great, and hope to see you around, around town soon." That was it. Didn't get a response. Don't want one. Don't care if I get one.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
was more for my own edification.
Okay.
So herein lies the question. I think, you know, is being human an excuse for being a hypocrite?
If you're using it as an excuse, yeah. But in general, no. I don't think so. With the definition I gave before, no. But if people continually use that as a crutch, I think it is. I mean, continual. It's the same
Right.
thing. So yeah, like, oh, I'm only human. I'm only human. I hate hearing that if there's no intentional progress, like I said before.
Right.
People blanket that and like, oh, it's like an excuse. Oh, I did this, whatever. I'm only human. Okay, the first time, cool, no problem. But when I hear that again and again, month after month, year after year, yeah, I don't take you serious.
Do you think people fail to realize certain aspects of their personality or certain aspects of their behavior? Do you think they fail to realize that? Or do you think they fail to recognize that that behavior needs to be worked upon?
I think it's both. I think some people just don't know. I don't want to say the word ignorant, but they're self ignorant. Some people just flat out don't know, and they don't have their friends around them to actually like check them or tell them so. So I can't really fully blame them if they don't truly know. But I think there are others that, yeah, they know and they just don't care.
It's we've talked about this in conversations offline. Um, it's almost like you see people like root for someone to fail. Like they cheer for someone's like demise, or they cheer for people to fall flat on their face, or
It's
the
the
optics.
American way.
Oh,
It's
I
the
want to be
American
happy
way.
for Greg, but meanwhile deep down inside, like I wish he would fall flat on his face. Why
Mhm.
do you think people are like that?
I just think that's the way society is. I mean, the American way is build them up to watch them fall down and then see if they can make a comeback. Everyone loves a comeback story. So,
That's true.
second chances, third chances. Yeah, that we love to tear people down, especially when they're doing great. And maybe they're genuinely doing good and people want to see them fail because they're envious, they're jealous, they wish they had the things they had, or the fame or the money or the publicity, whatever it is, the materialistic things. People, it's natural for people to hate when they don't have what they have. I think I used to be in a coaching group and it was good when I was in it. Like I got a lot out of it, and I'm no longer in it. And one of the things I took away was, so the guy that runs it, very successful, businessman, multiple companies, a lot of money. He's also lost everything a couple times, millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, bankrupt, everything. And the one thing I took away from one of the conversations we were having was, it's quick for people to say like, "Oh, that's easy for you. You have money." They have the same problems we have. They have the same bills we have, probably higher. It's scaled down differently, but oh, that's easy for you to say. You've already made it. That to me is an excuse, a crutch, and it's going to become a a habit where people will be become or potentially can become hypocrites. You know, oh, he has a lot of money. He can, whatever, he can afford to fail. Or, of course, he started a business. He had money for everything. This is an excuse. And that's a pick me, like pick me, pick me. Like everyone's, it's just a quick excuse. And it's not a good look. It's not a good vibe. So I think, you know, in a roundabout way, that stuck out with me because it leads to the path of purposely being a hypocrite. Oh, if I had that, I would do that too. Well, they started with nothing at some point. Everyone started with nothing. So, you know, people are very easy to hate on that.
How
So,
do expectations play a role in all this? Like, I think, we tend to have expectations on people that maybe they can and can't be filled. So then we judge them for being a hypocrite because their human side of them falls short of what we expect of them or what we would like of them, especially when it comes to a girl, right? I think, and I'm guilty of this 100%, at times where like you expect like, hey, I call you, you call me back. Or I do this like playing tennis or volleyball, right? You serve, I serve back, right?
yeah, volley.
And I don't get that back. So then I judge. You can judge someone as being a hypocrite. You can judge someone for being, less of what the expectations you have on them. But we have to realize that people don't owe us anything.
It's
They
true.
really don't. They really don't. Like I don't owe somebody who I'm just meeting a phone call back if I choose not to, or if I text a friend of mine, I don't expect him or her to respond right away. Maybe they have stuff going on. Maybe they've got maybe they're sick. Maybe they're working. So again, having an expectation is they have to email me back right away or text me back right away. I think can cloud our judgment as we look at someone as a hypocrite or it's all good. It's just your human side. So how can we be cautious or cognizant of not allowing our personal judgments or our biases affect how we look at somebody as being human or a hypocrite?
I mean, listen, that's a huge, that's a huge, it's a big question because what you just said, I'm guilty of it too, like you said. It's no one owes us anything. I don't care who you are, or who they are, or whatever. My hang up, or at least my in the past, what I've learned in my older age, what not to do, and this applies to business too and personal for me. I'm fast with my responses. You are too in business. Like we are on it. Like, okay, we get an email, we figure it out, we give them an answer, boom. I come from a world of time kills everything, get the answer in, get it done, get the job done. People don't operate like that. And when it's out of your control, you have to let it go. And when it comes to dating or whatever, like you said, okay, I might reach out to somebody. Now, you can't expect them to behave, respond, or whatever the way you would because they're not you. Maybe you and I would respond pretty quick when we got the text if we got it.
Right,
Other people sit on it.
right,
And in the past, maybe we would judge or do whatever we did, and maybe we were right, or maybe we weren't right. But that's not the
right,
point. The point is, we were expecting them to do what we would have done.
right,
You can't do that because it's going to drive you nuts. I'm completely guilty of it, and I was, and I've learned from that. I I like to respond. If I get a text, I respond. Same with you.
absolutely.
Obviously, if we're busy or whatever, we can't answer. We'll answer as soon as we can. Some people just sit on things. That's just how they are, and you can't fault them for it. That's them.
Right,
So it's very hard though when you're from a world of responding fast to throwing it out there and just waiting because maybe they are busy, like you said,
right. Yeah,
or
and
maybe
it's
they are
also
just sitting on it too, which is not right in my opinion. But that's their choice. It's their right to do that.
too, I think I know I've gotten over the last month and a half. I've been more tired lately. Trying to go to bed earlier.
Mhm.
I think in regards to like I'll see a text and I'll forget to respond. I get it back in tomorrow, or someone will call me and I'll be like half asleep. Like what I do now is I fall asleep on my recliner after work, and my cat jumps on top of me because she's got to have her cuddle time. So I end up falling asleep on my recliner until about 10:30 because I want to cuddle with my cat. Yeah, I'm that guy. And then we go to bed. And
Mhm.
then, I wake up at like 4 in the morning. So it's like, I'm very regimented in my routines and what I do.
Hmm.
So sometimes, yeah, it'll just be one of those things where like I'll just would rather call you in the morning or I'll wait because I'm up
Of
early.
course.
I'm not going to text somebody at 5 in the morning unless I know them or whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think it's also important too. While it's okay to have expectations because you want to do unto others, like treat others the way you want to be treated, it's
Mhm.
okay to feel disappointed, but you also have to make sure that you don't take it out on people.
You
And
got to manage
therefore,
it. Yeah.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because I can't
Mhm.
say, oh, well, Greg claims to be a great guy, but I didn't hear back from him in time. Oh, well, therefore, but like Greg doesn't owe me anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, like maybe
And
he's
it's
sick.
hard when you start mixing feelings in if
Sure,
you're interested in somebody, or
of course.
there's a lot of factors that play into the emotions of things. It's hard.
Of course. The Bible tells us we're not meant to be alone. Like we're meant for community. We preach community constantly. We got our friends and our boys, and we've got everybody. Even though we're in different states, some of us are in different time zones. We always have each other, and that's very
Mhm.
rare. And I hope people that are listening, guys and girls, I hope you're able to have something like that where it's unconditional. Like your boy's in
Yeah.
trouble, you're
Mhm.
driving, you're on the next flight out, and that's how we operate. Um, and when you're alone, sometimes the voices creep in your head, or in this realm, I'll call it the enemy, where it's like, hey, you're not good enough, or hey, you're never going to meet somebody, or hey, what are they doing tonight, or who is she hooking up with, or who is he hooking up with? And those voices penetrate your mind and it creeps in, and that allows you to make poor choices because we all look for something, whether it's
Mhm.
pornography, alcohol, gambling, some type of thing where if we're lacking intimacy, it's like a band-aid. We put the
Mhm.
band-aid on the cut heals, we take the band-aid off, and guess what? We cut ourselves again, putting the band-aid back on. But there's nothing that's breaking that chain. Greggy T, what advice would you give somebody who's in a situation where they're isolated or they lack human contact to get out there so that their human side doesn't get kind of like misconstrued with being a hypocrite? You know what I mean? It's like I can say something, but yet I hide from people because I'm afraid to engage. How can I engage someone into being human again if I'm isolated?
I mean, you're asking the wrong guy. I like isolation, but I understand your question. It's hard to, if somebody wants community or whatever and they are isolated, the only advice is if you truly want that, you got to go out and get it. It's not going to come to you.
Yeah.
So you got to find like at your church or a gym or a CrossFit or something, a habit, I don't know, something, or a hobby, not a habit. And you got to go out and meet people and meet like-minded people. You don't need a lot of money to do it. You can meet people walking on the beach, whatever. If you strive for that, you got to get it. No one's going to give it to you. Nobody. So, I mean, the only advice, I know that's pretty a boring answer, but it is what it is. If you want something, you got to make it happen somehow. You have to.
You have to break the chains. I mean, as I've gotten older, I like staying home. Like
Told you.
I like going out. Don't get me wrong. I mean,
Mhm.
I've been like a hurricane through now 3 states. But like comes a point where it's like, I went out last week after the boat, which I mean, not crazy. I didn't
Mhm.
plan on it. But like the next thing you know, you're like out there and like you're having a good time. And I'm like, oh geez, I gotta get home. I gotta drive 40 minutes back from Fort Lauderdale back up to here. Just like,
Fort Lauderdale
oh,
get you, man. It's like a Venus flytrap. You get too
oh
close,
yeah.
you're gonna get
The
sucked
elbow
in
room,
there.
that's like one of my favorite spots, ever since we went there.
Man,
Elbow room is legendary. Shout out to the elbow room, by the way. If you're
stay
listening.
away from Fort Lauderdale, man.
Ah, dude. Let me tell you, I had some great bands. My ears were ringing. I was like,
Mm.
yo, I'm like, dude, how old am I? My ears are ringing from like listening to music. But regardless, I like, but the problem is I think, as you are preparing for your, this next phase of your life, as am I, it's like, okay, like it's very easy for me to get in this routine of like staying home, watching TV, doing work, doing my thing, but not having that human contact. So it's being cognizant, like, hey, like if I gotta force myself to like go sit at a bar, like not that I want to, I'd rather like go for a walk on the beach or go for a run. But, most people down here or wherever you go, I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean,
so
you're in it where you're at. People are
yeah,
always
and I
out.
like it. I like
Yeah.
having a drink, maybe two,
Mhm.
not six. Right.
Time and place for that.
you know, even though like I like my Miller Lights, that's something I like. That's nothing. But I mean, even beer stays on you as you get older. Like, oh my god, I'm like Jesus. But that's neither here nor there. Okay, getting back on topic here, Greg and T. So there is a human side that we all face. We're all flawed. When we're in a relationship,
Mhm.
how as men can we be more compassionate towards our girl and reminding ourselves like, hey, or man, whatever it is, your partner, how can we use that human side to be more compassionate? Because I mean, in the world today, we don't really have a lot of like true compassion. We have optic compassion, but not
Yeah.
true compassion, right?
Yeah.
We can understand how someone was raised. It's not an excuse, but how do we
Mhm.
use our emotional intelligence to kind of create more compassion towards our partners?
Just try not to do what we said before. Try not to take our own pasts out on them. Number one, clean slate. If you're gonna say I'm gonna give somebody a clean slate, you give them a clean slate. Don't shine them and give them the same thing you were doing before. Give them a clean slate, and if they're gonna mess up, they're gonna mess up anyway. But don't look for it. I think that's a problem if you're always looking. Um, just communicate and be vulnerable with them. Once you reach that point, you want to be able to build something with somebody. That's, in my opinion, what I'm looking for in my life. I want to build with somebody. I don't want to build alone. And I don't want to build something for somebody else. I don't want to do that either. I want to build together in the same trajectory with the same plan and morals and everything and go forward. That's what I want. But
Nice.
in order to do that, you have to let go of all the shit we dealt with in the past, 'cause we've all
Yeah.
dealt with it. But it's hard because, like you said, when you're alone and those voices start creeping in, and you and I have seen pretty much everything, we can think of pretty much anything we want to, what's potentially going on when it's probably not.
Right.
So it's very hard to control that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you make
Mhm.
great points. And I think also too, when you think about business, I just because I have this thought in my head, it's like when you get in a disagreement with people, it tends to be combative,
Yeah.
or it tends to be a little like not to say combative, but it's like maybe intense, right?
It's
Because you
looked
want
at
to,
as that
right,
because no one will debate any. It's okay to, when I say argue, I don't mean like street argue.
right.
It's okay in business to have heated conversations because the end goal is to do better business.
Yeah.
You guys can disagree and argue your sides or make your point or your case. It can get heated. That's not a bad thing. A lot of that is like passion, I think, is mistaken now for all those words you just said. Like everyone's afraid to have an argument or it's looked down upon or they're aggressive. Maybe they're just passionate and you're both passionate about the business. Just one goes about it differently than the other. No one's wrong or right. And it's okay to argue about the common good of the company or the project or whatever you're on to get together and aligned. And maybe something that's, I think, when good things happen is when people are passionate and arguing back and forth and creating their case. It might spark a whole new thing, which is even better than both of what you were working on anyway. That's my opinion. I don't shy away from an argument in the office or a debate if somebody's asking or looking to make a point. I like passion. That means they're into their job. I'm looking for that. But
Right.
it's so different nowadays. I'm also on the mindset of years ago when it was okay to do that. Now it's
Of course.
they're aggressive and they're angry and all the keywords you see on social media and you're fired.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, a lot of good can come out of that. Just saying.
Yeah, and I think we've both been on certain sides of the aisle where we've been in some knockdown, drag out,
Oh yeah.
heated situations back when we were younger in regards to our workplace,
Yep.
which were all very productive. I mean, I'm grateful that
Mhm.
I grew up in a climate where I saw true leadership and true success.
Yep.
Like I saw it. And you know what? Like there's a lot of people out there that don't like Donald Trump. They don't like him. I don't know why. I really don't.
I can see why.
But if you look at true success and true leadership and what he's developed and who he's developed, and then when you take that on a scale where working in companies where like when we're in Manhattan, you're working with high-powered individuals, and yeah, they're intense, yeah,
Mhm.
they're tough because you have to be,
They have to be.
but that type of discipline allows you to reach unparalleled levels of success. And nowadays, we've just settled for complacency. We're just okay to show up to work, and and it's okay. Oh, no problem. I'll take care of that. Where it's like, no, like you're supposed to get this done. You didn't get it done. Make it right. And
Or get
I
out.
think
We'll find
right,
somebody else that'll do it.
exactly.
And there
And
was
I
people
think
lined up ready to go.
right. And you've mentioned your experience with Landmark. I've mentioned my
Mm.
experience with, and other types
Mhm.
of emotional tools that we've used to further ourselves. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, well, Mike's not really Christian if he's going to start yelling at people or like if he's going to come off with an attitude, right?
Whatever.
But that's how you can be perceived. So I think really the challenge for me is how do I articulate myself or catch myself from avoiding foolish arguments or foolish discussions, and also to maintaining my I guess not my standard, but like my foundation or my lens. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I understand what you're saying about try to avoid the silly arguments or whatever.
Right.
But I don't give a shit what anybody says. They're going to paint you how they paint you anyway.
Right.
Whether you walk on water or you're the fucking worst piece of shit on the planet, they're going to judge you no matter what. I don't care about that. I don't care if someone thinks you're less of a Christian because Mike curses. I don't give a shit. Who cares? He can curse all he wants. It doesn't make him less or more of anything.
Right.
He is who he is, and I don't think he should care. And by the way, who the fuck are you? No one cares what you have to say or think. And by the way, I didn't ask. That's it. I didn't ask. So, and usually these people that are saying this have nothing going for them anyway. So no one cares. So I don't. It doesn't make you any less or more of anything. And I don't really want to give any airtime to what people may think or say because they're gonna do it anyway, no matter what. So
And for those out there that want to ask, go to empowerman.com and you can read my 2-page bio.
yeah.
No, well said there, Greggy T. Well said.
This day and age, everyone's too caught up on what others think, and in doing that, you're stuck in neutral. Not you. People are
No,
stuck in neutral, like worrying so much about. Oh my god, how am I going to be perceived? What are they going to think of me? Who gives a shit? Just do your life. They're gonna say what they're gonna say anyway. So
yeah.
you might as well just focus on you, your friends, your family anyway, and keep it moving. Just get yours.
Yeah, we're such a label society. And what I mean, like, we're so quick to
Of
label somebody a
course.
racist, a bigot, a fascist, a Marxist, this or that. We're
Yeah.
so easy to blame and
It's all over
cancel
social media, and
and
so it's being
all.
planted in everybody. All these keywords, narcissist is still big on the internet. Like, if people only truly knew what it actually meant, and usually the people that are calling people that are the living definition, but
Well,
that's a hypocrite.
well, you see that in
Going full
politics.
circle. No,
Well,
please.
like you saw on TV, where I couldn't even get an answered question. Like to me, that's kind of like if you say you are against fracking, and then you're like, oh, I'm for fracking, and you're
Mm,
flip flopping your perspectives. To me, it's kind of well, or you're going to
that's
do things just
politics.
to get a vote. Right? It is politics, and you can't hate the player. You got to hate the game.
Mhm.
Right? So I know she's just kind of doing her thing. And for those that are
Yeah.
wondering where Greg and I kind of lie, I think you're kind of seeing where we lie. But again, we don't discredit anyone for what they believe. It's just our
Listen,
opinion
I
and our
want
perspective.
I want a whole party to develop out of a new party
Yeah.
or a new way. I mean, I heard
Mm.
she might go on the Sean Ryan show, which I would absolutely love because he doesn't He's very fair, and there's no political agenda with him whatsoever. If she goes on that, I would be very interested because he's been doing some really good work and exposing a lot of people, and now he's in danger. So he's doing a great job. I hope she goes on his show because it'll be another flounder, in my opinion. Now, I don't like any politician. I think there's a group of people that should come up through the ranks,
Right.
but the public won't allow it. Like, some ex-military guys are good. There's a couple businessmen that would be good. They're all friends. They would never let them in office because people don't know what to do with people like that. Meanwhile,
Right.
they would probably do really well for business, safety,
Right.
all the policies and whatever else is going on out there. But it's not going to happen. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I heard she was going to go on Joe Rogan's podcast. There's talks of that,
there's talks of that too.
which would be, I think it's good. I think it's good.
It'd
I
be
really
good,
do.
but I mean, it wouldn't
I mean,
be. I still don't think it's going to be 100% real, but
well,
it'll still be soft, in my opinion. I don't hate
well,
on him at all.
no.
I like Joe Rogan, but I don't know. I don't think it wouldn't be as productive or as raw as it needs to be.
Well, I'm hoping that the parameters would be set. Like, look, this is the way it goes. Like, I'm not going to change. I'm not going to,
If
adapt
she
to.
goes on either of those shows, I'd be shocked because she would get annihilated. She'd get annihilated on Sean Ryan,
She got
and he wouldn't
annihilated by
go
Brett
after.
Baer last night.
He wouldn't go, and he's not going after her because he's not into any of them. He's just give me facts. He just
Yeah.
wants facts. It's like you and me.
We all want that, sure.
Nobody will answer a question. Just answer the fucking question. It's not that hard. But
Well, it's all about, again, the optics, like we've talked about. It's all about
yeah,
the optics. And the fact is, look, if she had great policies that were better than, I'm all for it. But
I
the
hear you.
fact is she can't answer
Anything.
and she only got 2% of like the vote when she was of the delegates or whatever it is when she was running in the Democratic primaries, and Tulsi Gabbard just shut her down. Once Tulsi Gabbard shut her down, like that was it. She ended up dropping out. So I mean, I'm all
Yeah.
for hearing different ideas, but you got to have one. You can't just say, "Oh, it's Donald Trump's fault," or if you go back to Trump's, this is your stuff, dude. He hasn't been in office in 4 years.
Yeah.
When you came in office, you had no inflation.
I'll be honest. I wouldn't even use his name.
I
I
would
would.
not.
I wouldn't even say his name. I would just say what I have. But she doesn't have anything. But I would say what my plan is, how I'm going to do it, what I'm going to do. I'm not giving, even if it's talking shit. I'm not giving anybody else's name airtime if it's on my time.
Exactly. It's
But
just he's living rent free in their heads.
100%. That money train's gonna. They're not gonna let that stop, dude. There's no way.
Well, I hate saying this, but he's got to live another 2.5 weeks to the election. So I mean, it's not guaranteed, man.
No, but then listen, I've said this before, just have your shit ready because it's even after the election, it's still not, it's only November, right? So they're not sworn in until when? January?
Yeah.
And that's after the holidays. So I think, we have to wait till after that. I don't think shit's going to pop off too much until after that. But it's going to be mess. It'll be messy.
Yeah. And you wonder too, hopefully there won't be any problems with holiday travel, but it's another conversation. But you see a lot of hypocrisy on the world stage. You see
All of them.
like them lying right in front of looking at this camera, like I'm talking to you right now and just lying to your face.
Yep. People
And
buy
everything
it.
we talked about, accountability and all this stuff,
People
like my
buy it.
bad.
People buy it hook, line, and sinker, my friend. It's crazy.
I mean,
we know people that lap it up. They love it. I love it.
I mean, the presidency was so revered at one point, and it was so
respected.
It was respected.
Like
Of
FDR,
course.
during the World War II and all that stuff, it was on a different level.
Or my boy, Ronnie Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
That's my guy. I grew up with Ronnie Reagan. We grew up with Ronnie Reagan, and man, to say no to drugs and all that stuff. And dude, he was the man. And then, I'll say it too. When we were in high school, Clinton, got the internet and the roaring. I mean, the '90s were like it was a money pit, and we were young. Well, he came out playing the saxophone. This guy's the
Yeah.
man, dude. You know, I thought Bush
Yeah.
was a little, wasn't my favorite.
Yeah.
I did like Obama when he
No,
first got
definitely
elected.
not.
And then I saw what DJT did when he was in office, and I was like, I have more money, I can afford
Mm.
things. We're peaceful. He's not
Yeah.
so bad after all, But
Yeah. Where's your
it,
boy LeBron? Where's LeBron been? He's been awful quiet
well, I mean,
because
some
there
of
ain't
these
no party like a
pictures.
Diddy party, apparently. I mean, that's a
True,
quote from your boy. So just
true,
saying.
true.
Just saying.
Yeah, I don't know. He might be in some deep stuff there. I don't know. But it's funny. Someone said this as I was scrolling through social media. Like those now that have judged us based upon our morals are now all their stuff's coming out. So there's another example of hypocrisy, right? Telling us how to
Yep.
vote, telling us how to think. And a friend of mine who's a college professor said, the biggest challenge for these young kids now is that they're not encouraged to think for themselves. The colleges and
Of
universities are teaching
course.
these kids how to think. And now you're seeing it throughout the world,
Mm-hmm.
and you just pray that things get better. I hope they do, regardless of who wins the election. I hope you know
I
everything
just
goes
think it,
smooth.
it needs a real shakeup to at least
Yeah,
start the change. It's a big change definitely does need to happen, but it's not just going to happen overnight. And there's going to be a lot of resistance because you got a lot of lifers in Congress and Senate and
oh, of
all the
course.
politics, and a lot of change doesn't happen because they're not going anywhere. That's a lifetime job. I think you should always, there should be term limits on pretty much everybody because it's just bad news.
Yeah,
Bad news.
and the hypocrisy then again goes there as well. Like you
Hmm.
see a lot of these politicians that claim to love our country, but their actions indicate otherwise.
A lot of
You know,
military dudes that went into politics all sold out. Not all of them, some of them, and they're real pieces of shit for doing that. Never saw that coming. Everybody sells out. From what I hear, mostly everybody sells out because I don't know, they get that money or that you do me a favor, or I don't know. It's like a weird place. People turn real quick.
and I think that's
So
the morality issue in regards to again how you look at things.
mhm.
Most people go into Congress, they make I don't know, make good money, but they come out millionaires. How does that happen,
Yeah.
right? So, um, before we go too off topic here, Greggy T, I want to wrap this
Mm.
up because we could kind of go on this topic for like another hour or so. But the big takeaways from being a hypocrite, being human. Give us your final thoughts and kind of put the bow on this, my friend.
If if you feel yourself being a hypocrite, or if somebody calls you a hypocrite, like seriously calls you it, maybe it's time to reflect a little bit and see if you truly are. And maybe look for signs of if you're just using it as a crutch or an excuse to keep doing the same things or making the bad decisions or poor choices or bad behavior, whatever. And if it is, you have two choices. You can stay doing it or you can make a change. And if you truly want to make a change, that's up to you and you alone, and you got to do it. If not, I don't want to hear it. And don't complain when somebody calls you a hypocrite. Just stop using things as a crutch and use it for power instead.
Yeah, and I'll say that I think it's okay. It's okay to be human
Hmm.
and trying to be perfect because you're not. No one's going to be perfect. We're all going to make
Yep.
mistakes. I'm going to say
Hmm.
things. You're going to say things. It's
Hmm.
just recognizing it, being contrite about it. But however you want to like do
Yeah.
that, that's fine. People are flawed. They're going to mess with us. They're going to do things to us. They're going to be, but it's all about how you respond to the situation. And it's okay if you're emotional. Take a day, a week, 2 weeks, regroup, regather your thoughts, and then come back with an articulated response. And
Yeah.
I'm in the process of doing that myself with the people that I do pray for, that I hold a grudge against, because I don't. Life's too short. I don't want to hold any animosity towards anybody because you and I are kind of from the same cloth in a way where like not that we'll hold a grudge, but we'll be like, oh,
Well, I'll
that
hold a
person,
grudge.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
will. I'm getting better at that, but it only affects us, doesn't affect them. So if it's like a certain thing that you believe, or there's a certain code or certain values or certain things that
Yeah.
you live by, it's okay to be human. It's okay to be human. But if, you're saying no to drugs, but you're going out ripping lines every day, you may want to just think about different things. Or if you're being faithful, you say how much you love your wife or your husband or whatever, and meanwhile, you're on like Ashley Madison or one of these like, call for hire hookups or whatever it is might be. And I'm not judging them, but I'm saying you may want to re-examine, maybe saying, "Hey, I need to kind of like admit my
Yeah.
stuff and move forward." So it's okay
Guns
to be
guns are
human.
bad. Guns are bad, Greg. I'm looking to get a gun. What should I get? I thought you're just preaching guns are bad and you're anti this and that person's pro gun, you don't like them, but you're calling me saying what I should get for home defense or whatever. And that's a hypocrite, if you ask me. Just saying. Because they
Well,
don't want to be heard saying they got a gun or they're thinking of getting a gun because of what we spoke about before. What are people going to think of me or whatever? And they're all caught up in the optics. That's a
well,
hypocrite.
well. Let's look at the human side of things. You mentioned something earlier that's major breaking news. Even CNN has it on right now. Single dad.
Allegedly, that's, not official. It's
Well,
costume. It's costume, Mike. It's costume.
if people out there want to see Greg's single dad costume for Halloween, vote yes on our poll that's going to be released real soon.
Yeah.
And Greg will
Yeah.
personally sign the costume and send it to you.
Yeah.
So, but Greg T, is great episode, very thought provoking. We have 2 more weeks to our big election
Mm,
episode. 2 more weeks till
mm.
Halloween. We'll definitely be back for an election day episode.
We got to do an election day episode, my friend.
So we'll be there. Don't know if we'll be able to have anybody on because of the times, but
Working on it.
well, you know what? It'll definitely be a good one, and everybody, we appreciate the support from all over the world. I get all the data. Our people in Mexico and Ireland and Australia,
Yep.
UK. So keep on listening. If you have any feedback for us, just
Yep.
email us. Send us a
And
DM.
we have a very large female audience. If you guys want any topics spoken about from a guy's point of view, and we will keep it real, let us know, and we'll talk about it. So we're all
Or if you have
ears.
any friends,
Send them Mike's way.
yeah. No, only kidding. Only kidding. All right, Greggy T. Well, listen, from the free state of Florida, Ron
Mhm.
DeSantis land, home of the free and the hurricanes that he did a tremendous job with. That I don't know if people are going to be recognized it or not, but he did a tremendous job getting this state prepared
It's
for
the only
natural
state
disasters.
with a real response team. The only state.
Yeah,
Other states will follow, but he has dedicated like former special ops guys that do like trauma relief after hurricanes or tornadoes. The only state. So I'm hoping North Carolina follows because they got absolutely crushed. So shout out to those
yeah,
people in the
yeah,
mountains and all
yeah.
the guys helping them and the girls. Also, I want to make a shout out to a listener of ours, a friend of yours, who passed, Juan Jeremy. Shout out to him, his
Yeah,
family, because he was a
yeah,
dedicated listener. He used to message me all the time about us. So sorry to hear that. And
yeah, yeah. He was a good guy, Juan
hopefully
Jeremy.
he's having a
We had
good
a
time.
lot.
Hope
We had
he's
a lot
having a
of
good
fun up
time
there.
up north in heaven. So
Yeah. Well, he's with Timmy and Joe now. So I mean,
yeah,
that was a tough one. So I think his funeral is going to be October 26th in Brooklyn. So I'll probably be at that one. And there's a GoFundMe page. We could put that
yeah. I'll put in a
um
link.
put it in a link to get his
Yeah.
body, from
He was
Japan back
wrestling in
here.
Japan. They got to get his body back to New York. So I'll put it in the description.
It's weird. Thanks, man. It's weird how they treat your body as cargo,
I mean,
which
yeah.
is wild.
I
It's
mean,
pretty
what else
wild.
can you do though?
Yeah. We had a lot of fun, man. A lot of stories that will go
He
with
was a good
me.
guy. He was
He was
always nice.
he's a sweet guy. He was a really
Yeah.
good guy. And, I've had discussions with a few of my old buddies and, it's, you know, I can see how like he did unfortunately passed away alone, which is really something that like is my worst nightmare. You know, it's some things that you think about as we get older, but
Mhm.
he enjoyed doing what he loved. And I think that gives me solace, and that
Mhm.
gives me like, hey, you know what? He died doing what he loved, and you know, I'll see you on the other side, man.
Cool.
So
All right, man. Everyone be safe out there. We'll talk to you in 2 weeks for the election.
God bless.
All right.